Hi, my name is Quyen and I am from HelpAge International. This video is a quick overview of climate change and global warming. Greenhouse gas trap heat from the sun, which make the earth warmer. With the rise in greenhouse gas, especially carbon dioxide or CO2, our earth will continue to get warmer and warmer. So to combat climate change, we need to know more about CO2 or carbon. Carbon is found in the atmosphere, vegetation, ocean, soil, rocks, fossil fuel, and permafrost. Permafrost is highlighted red because global warming is starting to melt the permafrost, which can release hundreds of gigatons of dangerous greenhouse gas. If this happened in a large scale, it would be game over for all of us. Next, I would like to go over some key climate change vocabulary. First is carbon sink. There are three main carbon sinks that we need to know: vegetation, the soil, and finally large body of water like seas and oceans. Carbon sink captures and releases carbon. The next word is carbon flux. Carbon flux is the difference between the carbon captured and released amount. For hundreds of thousands of years, it has been close to zero, which is called the carbon balance, and all of this is called the carbon cycle. This is a graph showing the historical level of CO2 in the atmosphere in parts per million. Has not seen this level of CO2 in the atmosphere for the past 850,000 years until now. Currently, it has crossed 400 parts per million and will continue to rise. So what is causing this rise in CO2 level and the carbon cycle imbalance? First, we are burning large quantity of fossil fuel, which is releasing billions of tons of CO2 in the atmosphere per year. Second, reduction in our carbon sink. We have lost 50% of our forest cover and widespread burning of biomass, which released not just CO2 but also very harmful smoke. We have also lost 50% of our topsoil and large tract of our seas and ocean are polluted. All of these have caused our carbon flux to be negative. The carbon sink can capture less than what they release. Finally, the release in greenhouse gas from the melting of the permafrost. Unfortunately, our carbon footprint is projected to increase, mostly due to the following reason. 1. Population growth. We will reach 8 billion by 2023 and to 9 billion by 2037. Second, our GDP is expected to continue to grow, which will lead to higher consumption. And third, and lastly, urbanization. 56% of the world population is currently living in urban areas and will increase to 69% by 2050. Our total CO2 emission or our annual carbon footprint is 40 billion tons per year. Therefore, it is very important for us to find a way to offset this amount. So what action can we take to reduce climate change and global warming? To help us decide what action to take and what would be their impact, we have this chart. Not all action has the same or equal impact. This is a chart showing the annual CO2 emission saving by activity. For example, if you change to eat a plant-based diet, you would save this much per year. If you change to eat only or mostly local food, you will save this much. Or have one fewer child, you can save this much. However, if you decide to be a full-time biochar maker, you can reasonably save 1,000 tons of CO2 annually. Yes, this is a big wow. Looking at the bigger scale, to combat our climate change and global warming problem, we need to select the right solution for the right scale of the problem. If our climate change global warming problem is this size, our plan A, which for the last 30 years has been to reuse, reduce, and recycle, would be the perfect intervention. Plan A would not stop global warming, but will slow it down. However, if our climate change global warming problem is bigger, plan A would not be enough. We would need to add plan B, which focus on being carbon neutral, such as moving away from using fossil fuel to renewable energy like solar, hydro, wind, and bio. However, if our climate change global warming problem is very large, it is gigantic like the size of Godzilla, then plan A and plan B is not enough. We would need to add plan C, which is carbon negative. Carbon negative can enable us to reverse global warming by offsetting current and past emissions. To help us have a clear picture, this is a chart showing the projected global CO2 emission and rise in global temperatures by various intervention plans. If we continue with only plan A, global temperature temperature is projected to rise to above 2.5 by 2100. If we implement both Plan A and Plan B, global temperature will increase by 1.5 to 2.5 by 2100. However, if we implement Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C, we can stop and reverse global rise in temperature. Just to note, according to climate change specialists, our remaining carbon budget to stay below 1.5 degrees Celsius would likely be used up before 2030 and below 2 degrees Celsius before 2040. So the time we have is very, very limited.